So, today we're covering two odds and ends type of things, and then the append to polygon is the main course of today's notes. And so first things across the top here, delete edge and vertex. Just getting right into it. So delete edge and vertex. You guys may have at some point this year while you're working on something, deleted some edges. And typically people do that with the delete key. There's not necessarily anything wrong with that unless you don't, unless you need those vertices that you leave behind, otherwise called orphaned vertices. Because if you delete an edge and when you delete the edges, you're just deleting the edge, not deleting the vertices that those edges are connected to, because Maya assumes that, hey, you need these vertices where they're at for whatever reason you might have. So Maya doesn't know any better, and so it leaves the vertices behind, unless you use the delete edge and vertex tool under the edit mesh menu. So what that does is if you have an edge loop selected, and you hit this delete edge and vertex tool, it will delete both the edges and the vertexes at the same time. Otherwise, you would have to select the edges, hit your delete key on the keyboard, and then switch to vertex selection mode, select the vertices, and hit delete again. So this does them both in one go. Okay. The added benefit is that yes, you are deleting two things at once, but the main reason why you need to know this is that we are starting to get to the point where I am expecting you to know, understand, and create clean geometry. So not having extra vertices where they don't need to be, and things along those lines. So I'll display this in a second once I talk about multicut. So multicut, this is under mesh tools. This is your way of manually creating an edge of your choice. So we are already familiar with the older brother of this tool, the insert edge loop tool. So that puts in a whole straight edge of loops. Okay? This is much more custom. It allows you to decide how, you can make it at an angle, you can make them straight, you can also snap them to a particular percentage of the length of the edge. So you can snap them by 5%, 10%, 7% of this edge. So you can snap it to 49% of the edge's width, and then go up and snap it to 52. Yeah, 52 is the what for. So you could do something along those lines. Actually, I meant to do it by 7, so that would be 42. So what that looks like. Oops. Alright, so you got a cylinder. I'm going to add 2 subdivisions. Okay, so this cylinder has an edge running through the middle. If I go and delete, just hit this in backspace, you'll see actually, so I'm in my edge mode, you can see that it's not selecting all the way down to the bottom. It stops right in the middle. Because I have orphaned these vertices here. The vertices are still here, and they are still connected to edges, but they don't really need to be here. So what you've done is you've now taken these, let me undo. So what was originally 2 4-sided faces, I deleted the edges between them, and now what I have is one face that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges along it, which makes it what shape? 6-sided shape is called what, folks? A hexagon. Yes, this is a hexagonal face. It looks like a rectangle, but that is a lie, because Maya is lying to you. So if I wanted to make this a 4-sided face again, I'd have to delete these vertices. So because this is a hexagon, Maya cannot split it with the insert edge loop tool. It is not doing anything, okay? Because the insert edge loop tool only works with 4-sided faces. So I'd need to go in here, vertex mode, select these extra verts, hit delete. Now this is back to, whoops, a 4-sided face.
You can see if I go into edge mode, selecting the whole edge. If I grab my insert edge loop tool, now it's working again. So that's what I mean by clean geometry. Extra vertices mean extra edges, which means that sometimes your shape that looks like a quadrilateral or looks like a triangle is not actually 3 or 4-sided. It could be 5, 6, 8-sided because you have extra vertices on it. And that's going to lead to problems when you try and run and use tools on it. So that brings me to multi-cut. I'm going to go grab my multi-cut. I can hold shift, and that is going to give me my step snap, or snap steps, excuse me. I always get that backwards. So I can snap it to 50% of the length of this edge between this point here and this point here. Then I can snap it to 80%. Then I can snap it to 20%. I can snap it to 60%. So you can see it's allowing me to create my own edge. I hit enter, it locks in. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit G, reuse my last tool, and I'm going to drag up to here, drag down to here, and so you'll see I'm snapping again by 10% increments, but now it's from between this vertex and the bottom vertex, because this edge is what it's measuring my percentage by. Not the whole height all the way to the top of the cylinder, but the length of this edge. Yes, sir. How do I what?
You just select the edge and...
You talking about how I use this tool?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So you just grab under the mesh tools, let me undo. So you go to mesh tools, multi-cut, and you just start dragging on the edge you want to start cutting. Okay, this is not cute anymore. There you go. You drag on the edge, drag on the next edge.
Wait, under edit mesh? Or?
Mesh tools, multi-cut. And so also, multi-cut, like most tools in Maya, has tool settings that you can mess with. So the rest of these in here, you will never use them. I almost guarantee you will never touch any of these other settings except for the snap step percentage, which is by default set to 10. So maybe you want to snap it to every 3% of this edge. I don't know why you would do that. More likely you're probably going to do something like 5 or 25 or 10, something that makes a little bit more sense. So now I have it set to 5%. If I click here and then I hold shift and click here, it's now snapping to every 5% of this edge's length. So it allows me to be much more precise. Now another thing to point out though, with my multi-cut, I added this edge here. Let's say I wanted to extrude this face out. Nothing wrong with that. Cool. That's the shape I wanted. All systems go. The main problem is that this face is now a 5-sided face. 1 edge, 2 edge, 3, 4, 5. And over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one's a 4-sided face, but here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is another time where I'd want to use my multi-cut. And I'm going to terminate. Come on, buddy. There you go. This edge. And I'm going to drag and create a new edge that connects from here to here. So what I've now done is turn this 5-sided face into a triangle and a 4-sided face. And I'm going to go ahead and do this and connect it up to here. So now another triangle, another quad, and just for sake of my example, I need to edit mesh, delete edge and vertex for that. Okay. So I have this thing cut in, and I also terminated these edges. If I now go to my insert edge loop tool, I can actually put in an edge loop here. And you'll see it's accounting for the angle of this face and how it has changed the profile of this edge loop, or edge ring I should say. So I can do something like that if I wanted. And then, Whoops. Do that. Extrude. Neat. So there you go. So that is delete edge and vertex and multi-cut. So the notes we have here, what is the functional difference between deleting edges with the delete key and the delete edge vertex tool? Basically, all you need to know is that if you just hit delete, you are agreeing that you need those vertices to stay behind. If you just select edges and delete them, that is a tacit approval to Maya that says leave these vertices here. They stay here. I have a use for them. Okay? You should probably, I'd say about 9 times out of 10, if you're deleting edges, you probably don't need the vertices as well, and you should be using the delete edge vertex tool. Now, moving to multi-cut, what is the step snap percentage? It's actually, see, I even have it written wrong in the notes. Snap step percentage. Control in the multi-cut tool settings. Holding shift allows you to snap the new vertices as you're dragging your multi-cut edges along by a defined interval, and you can change that in the tool settings. Default interval is 10%, so if you want it to be 5%, you can change it to 5. You want it to be 25%, you can change it to 25. You want it to be 33% if you want it to be in thirds. In fact, I think if you put 33%, it does it by 33.3, but I think that's just a tool tweak. Okay, so the meat and potatoes of today. We're learning about append and its manually done extrude cousin, let's say. So, starting off with just the append to polygon tool. So under mesh tools, connects exposed border edges with a new face. Enter key locks in the new face. So jumping over to here, I'm gonna go grab my merge practice for today. I'll be giving you this file tomorrow. So this is the file you'll be working in for the Maya 8 assignment. So I'm gonna just start. You are going to be making a completed cylinder and filling in this crate, okay? So just using this for my example right now. I'll come back and show you the demo later. Append to polygon. I'm just gonna go to mesh tools, append, and if you guys can see some of my border edges, as they're called, the edges that are on the outside of faces, they've become thick and green, which is signifying to me this is a border edge that I can use for the purposes of my append tool. So if I want to click between here, so I'm starting on this edge, and it's showing me all of the purple edges are edges that I can connect to. In this case, I obviously want to connect straight across. Click here, enter locks it in. So then here, I'm going to use G, reuse my last tool, connect, enter locks it in. That brings me to here. Enter, boom. Append, boom, boom. So, same thing. Now, what about something like this? There's 2 faces here. There's 3 on the other side that are missing. If I append between here and here, not quite. See, it creates just a straight flat face. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so it's making a very straight flat edge. Or face, excuse me. So for those kind of situations where append just doesn't get the job done, you're going to use extrude to do the things that append can't do. So that's this question down here. List the steps for using extrude to fix areas that can't be easily appended. So for sake of demonstrating this, I gotta real quickly take my objects here and combine them to be one object. I'm then gonna select all these verts in the middle. I have 36 vertices currently. Edit mesh, merge, down to 20. Okay, so now I can go append between here and here, and then I still can't append between here and here, But what I can do is take these two edges here, because it already has the bend that I need in my cylinder. I can extrude those, and you can either, if it's easier for you, so you gotta switch the move tool either way. So if it's easier for you, you can lift them up a little bit before you do this, or not. But either way, you're gonna DV, snap your pivot point to one of these vertice corners, and then while still on the move tool, V for snap to vertex, snap these up to here. Just as good as in a pen. All you need to do to make sure it's sealed at the top, select the vertices. I have 20 vertices selected. Edit mesh merge. Now I have 18. Those two vertices have connected up here. Same thing over here. I would append here. Oops, that'll happen sometimes. It just decides that I want to connect out there. It is wrong because it's dumb. Okay, so you just Command Z, undo. Let's try this again. There you go. So we got those done. Switch into my edge mode. Grab 1, 2, 3. Extrude these. And again, if it's easier for you, you can move the edges up first. D and V for snap to vertex. Snap it to that corner. And snap, holding V, snap them up to the top. Select your verts. 22 verts selected, edit mesh, merge. 20, and it's solid all the way around. Okay, so I am going to reset this and do it from the top. In a second, I'm going to leave these notes up for you guys to finish copying in. Whoops. So I'm going to take a brief moment. Okay. Yes, this is your one chance at fame. So, we have two things that I've given you. This cylinder needs to look like a cylinder. This crate needs to look like basically the top does on all 6 sides. Alright, so, first things first. This crate is somehow split into 2 objects. And as a reminder for our Maya 7 stuff, you can only merge vertices that are part of the same object. So the very first thing we need to do with this cylinder is combine it. Now, the next thing that I'm going to want to do is to make sure that these vertices in the middle are all merged. So I have my poly count up, which you should have activated after you've done Maya 7. And if I select this, you will see it's telling me I have 36 vertices selected. Now, just for you out there to do the math, this is a 20-sided cylinder. It should be once all of the faces are filled in. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Merge, and now you will see that it's telling me I have 20 vertices here. So we're doing good so far. Went from 36 verts down to 20. Alright, so the third tool on our notes, the Append to Polygon tool. It's under Mesh Tools, it's the top one, Append to Polygon. And you'll notice that a bunch of my edges are now glowing. And so that is Maya telling me this is a border edge. Border edges can be appended or connected by creating a new face. It's essentially like extrude, except you click from one edge to another and it makes the face. So I click on this edge here. You'll see that the rest of my edges that are borders become purple, saying, hey, you can connect to this. I'm going to just click right across and hit enter to lock it in. Boom. New face. Great. Hit G to reuse my last tool so I can append again. Click, click, enter. Reuse my last tool. Click, click, enter. Click, click, enter. And let me just real quickly do this one here. Alright, so mostly good. Also go and take a second and do the top. So that one. Now you'll notice I'm doing just the individual faces that need to be replaced, because there's another method you'll need to use for replacing more than one face across an area. So I'm just getting all of the single faces done first. Alright, so we got all those done. I have a gap here of 3 faces, one over here of 2 faces, and then 2 faces over here. So what do we do in this instance? Well, if it's not easily appended, you can actually do it manually using extrude. So that's why I just referred to it as basically extruding a face across, because you can do it manually with extrude. So if I go ahead and take these edges, these are on the border of this, and I just want to point out real quickly before I do this, if I actually just appended from here to here, you can see obviously it does not bend to follow this. It just goes from one point to the other point. So it creates a straight flat face between the two. So not helpful for this area. So back to what I was doing, I'm going to grab these bottom edges here because these obviously follow the shape that I'm trying to replicate. I'm just going to extrude them. And once you've hit extrude, this is a reminder, this should not be news to any of you, the faces already exist, right? So as soon as you hit extrude, the extrude is done, the faces exist. So you can just press W for your move tool, snap your pivot to the corner, and then hold V, grab the center, and snap it up to the top. By the same token. So these vertices up here are not merged. We're going to merge them all in a second. So on the same token here, I'm going to take these 2 edges here. I'm going to extrude them. If it's easier for you guys folks, switch to the move tool. You can just pull these up a little bit. You can see that vertice that you just added. Snap using D and V, snap your pivot point. And then on the move tool, just hold V for snap to vertex, move it up to the top. And then for the last one, grab these 2 edges, extrude, switch to the move tool. I'm going to pull this down, snap my pivot to the corner, snap it down to the bottom. All right, so there should be 20, 40, 60 vertices because I have 3 edge loops all the way around. So I'm going to go select this. Right now it's telling me I have 66. Go ahead, edit. In fact, let me do this. Do that. Do that. Oh, whoops. I need to zoom out. There we go. Edit mesh. Merge, and you'll see that 66 should go down to 60. Boom. There it is. So, we got all that done. Now, the one last thing I'm going to do in my edge mode, I'm going to select this whole loop up here. And to fill this in very easily, 2 steps. First step, after you already have the edges selected, I should say. Extrude. Okay, so now we've just created faces because we hit extrude. The edges already exist. So I'm just going to go to edit mesh, merge to center, boom. Filled in. So again, 2 steps after you select. So select, then you just need to extrude, and then merge that extrude to the center. Boom. Entirely sealed cylinder. If you are so inclined, it hasn't been formally on the notes yet. That was a mistake of mine. But you can just select all of these edges across the middle. And just like you guys did with the wagon cover, you can soften these edges. And there you go. Completely rebuilt cylinder. Now for the crate, you need to get the other 5 sides of the crate to resemble the one on top. So this is the edge flow that you should be mimicking. So you should have these 2 triangles here, a large quadrilateral on both sides going out to the corners, and then the corners should look like this. The corners should not, in the end, have the boxes here. Okay? They should look like this. Now, how you're going to do that? I'm going to start by doing similarly to what we did with the cylinder. Select all the objects and combine all the objects. Because again, you cannot merge vertices unless they are part of the same object. The next thing, I'm just going to go ahead and merge my vertices. Edit mesh, merge vertices. So what that has now done, these vertices are now merged at the corner. These ones. Okay? These vertices, however, this edge is not merged to anything. Okay? So what you're going to need to do so that we don't need to connect these to anything is just delete them the right way, which is to select them. And again, we're referring to our top, so these are not on the top area. So I have my edges selected, edit mesh, delete edge and vertex. Because again, if I do not do that, and I just hit the delete key, there's still going to be vertices here. And that is the problem we are trying to avoid. So when you delete these edges, it's edit mesh, delete edge vertex. Boom. Okay. So we're getting closer. The last step on this is going to be doing lots of appends. So before we can do that, I need to draw these edges for my corners using our new friend, the multi-cut. So I go grab my multi-cut tool, and you just drag on any of the edges all the way to the vertex, and drag on the other edge all the way to the vertex. Enter locks it in. Same thing over here. So drag, drag, enter. Drag, drag, enter. Until you get all of these corners done. All of the corners are going to look like this. So I just did all the corners on the top, or I'm about to, I should say. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to go down to the bottom. So again, we're drawing diagonal lines down to the corner. And don't forget, you do also have to do the bottom. So we're just dragging on edges, hit and enter. Dragging on edges, whoops. If you ever screw up, enter, undo. Don't overthink it. Just lock it in and undo it. If you screw up, it happens. Alright. Oh, almost forgot the bottom. Alright, and let's see. Alright, so all diagonals have been added. Now, let's take a quick look. I'm going to press Q to end my multi-cut, just like the Insert Edge Loop tool. So you'll notice, if you look at this from the inside, a couple of things. One, the areas that are in here are just big triangles. So there's not a face that covers up entirely behind this. It is just big triangles. Secondly, these faces actually run past this edge here, which is what we want to connect into our geometry. So these faces are going to need to be replaced as well. So that's what you want to do. Basically, first is delete this face. Go to Append, Mesh Tools, Append to Polygon. Append from that corner on the, or that edge on the board to the border still on the crate. Boom. And you must do these one at a time, unfortunately, because you need something to connect your append to. So append from there down to there. Lock it in. Grab this face. Delete. Append tool. Append. Append. Over here. Delete this. Mesh tools, append. 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 Boom. Okay. So we have the borders for the inside triangle. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and connect those up there to there. Boom. Do it again from there to there. Okay. Almost done. So if you look at our top as our example, the last things to do are to put in these faces here and these faces here. So basically I already have this one. Oh no, I don't have this one done. Okay, cool. I'll just go delete all of this. In fact, I think you can just straight up delete all the ones on one side at one time, because now I will append from this edge here onto the full edge up here, and you'll see that I get this vertice terminates off to here, and this vertice terminates off to here. And so I'll reuse my tool, do the same thing here, this edge here to the long edge here. And so it's a good thing I did that, because this edge here is screwing me up. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo that. Let me append here and here first, and then I'm gonna append here. Okay. So that there to there, and basically I'm just gonna go take this edge and this edge, because they're gonna screw me up. Edit mesh, delete edge and vertex, append my faces again. So now I don't have a vertex here to screw me up. I can connect from this edge to this edge. Cool. Oh, still got this edge here. Not being helpful. Delete this face. Delete this edge. Edit mesh. Delete edge vertex. Alright. There we go. There to there. Bingo. From there to there. Except I forgot. I gotta delete this edge, this edge, this edge. Edit mesh. Delete edge vertex. Alright. Append. So, oops. So I just screwed up my append there. It's shooting off into space. So just hit enter. Undo. Alright. Reuse. Append. Bingo. Oh. Except I forgot about these edges too, because I'm very smart. And these ones need to get deleted. Edit mesh, delete edge and vertex. Append. From here to here. I screwed up my append again. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. So that goes there to there. And then this goes from here to this edge. And then finally, this one connects to this one. Boom. Oh. This guy's not helping me. Edit mesh. Delete edge vertex. Alright, mesh tools, append. From there, over there. Okay. And there you have it. Okay, so I'm going to take a second before I keep going and just remove all of these extra edges that I have. So I don't need this, 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 or this, or this, this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Okay, I think that's everything. Edit mesh, delete edge vertex. Alright, cool. So that brings me to which one? Okay, I'll do this side next. Or no, I'll do this side next. Okay, so from the top, now I'm just gonna go, I already have these all merged in. Delete this face, append, here to here. Delete this face, append, there to there, and then append from there to there. Alright, delete this face, mesh tools append, there, oops, there, and delete this face, append again, here to there, append, there to there. Okay. And now I got this done, so I can append from here to there. Boom. So I'll delete this face now. Mesh tools append. Do that. And I'll just hop over to here. Delete this face. Mesh tools append. Connect this over to this. And then delete both of these. Bless you. Append from there to there. Makes a triangle. And append from here to there. Boom. Append from here down to here. And then append from there to there. And then finally append there to there. And that is what your crate will look like at the end. All right.